Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Winnie.
And I'm Pragya, and today we are talking about how to get into Amazon and what our interview process was like.
Yeah, all the tips and tricks and the secrets.
So we both are like senior PMs at Amazon, and we both are doing our internship. This is our summer after first year of MBA, and I'm doing MBA at UT Austin, Texas, and I'm here at Seattle for my internship.
And I'm doing my MBA at Chicago Booth and also here in Seattle for my internship. So glad to get to meet you in person.
I swear, like first day,
yeah.
we started talking about our socials, Instagram and YouTube, and it was like first love.
Exactly. I love when people are passionate about stuff and like creating content. Yeah, it's great to connect.
Me too. I'm happy. Okay, so let's start with the video. Let's start with the Amazon leadership principles. So Amazon has 18 leadership principles, and they base all their work based on these principles. Like for example, there's a principle called bias for action, which means that if you're thinking about something, like do it and then see if the results are good or bad.
Yeah.
So the idea that is coming from is that if you won't try anything, it will take some time, and Amazon believes in seeing quick results. So they think like doing it will make more sense.
And then we can't forget about customer obsession.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, whatever you do, you have to think from the customer perspective, their pain points, frustrations, what they want or don't want, and their wishes. Like if you had the magic wand and you waved it, like what would you change about a product or feature?
Yeah, and my favorite leadership principle is learn and be curious. So in that, like you always be curious, you always try to understand new things and you try to learn new things. So that is also very important at Amazon. And like even during meetings and during conversations, we talk in leadership principles. For example, like if my manager has to give me feedback, she will be like, okay, Pragya, like do bias for action over here instead of or deep dive into this problem.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and some other ones that I remember are like have backbone, disagree, and commit, which is good because then it shows like you can always manage up. You don't have to just listen to what people tell you, but question if it's right path forward. There's also frugality and deliver results.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the important PM ones.
Yeah.
And you can go through this list and watch different videos about Amazon leadership principles.
We'll link it as well to the page.
Link it. Regarding the first step of the application, I think it was the leadership assessment. I got a lot of questions asking what the assessment will be because it's the first step, and so it's basically us going through a stimulation where they'll ask you different questions on how would you deal with the situation. So for example, if your co-worker is doing something, what will you do in response? So it's more like situations and what will you do about it. I would suggest nothing, no like preparation is required, like just do things that you think you would do and just go through leadership principles because that is their way of working. So that will give you some idea about like if you're confused between two options, then maybe you can apply a principle. But I could not see a lot of application when I attempted it, but yeah, it never hurts to read those principles before.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mainly focus on the LPs or leadership principles to study. There's not any other way because they're more so scenarios, as you mentioned, like what would you do like if sales are going down or if there's too much inventory, who would you reach out to? It's kind of like an intuitive like business sense that you have to have. And then like for product management, I remember it was more so around resources, like how do you determine where to allocate your time, your investment or budget. So that in a sense is also just like a critical thinking process. I think you would develop it at school, like if you go to business school as well, or in any business class.
Actually, my leadership assessment was very different. It was just like behavioral questions in the sense, what will you do if your co-worker is maybe late to a meeting every day?
I also had that too. Yeah.
So So all right, I think when the assessment ends, it gives us a ranking on what do you want to apply for, and there are different options I can apply for retail product,
Yeah.
like RLDP program, which is retail leadership development program, and then product management, program manager, technical,
Yeah.
and marketing manager is a new mix which was added last year.
And
So-
finance leadership.
Yeah, finance. That's also really important.
Yeah.
Totally from a non-finance background, so I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different roles you can rank, and it's like it might be hard to decide, but yeah. So as long as you like, your application can go through each of those for each position. So just rank what you find most important or meaningful to you, and where you can contribute the most.
Right. I think like for me, I wanted to get into the strategy, and that's why I opted for PM.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just interested me more in comparison to other programs.
Yeah, and it's similar to you. I think I realized I wanted to get into product management in the beginning of my MBA, like when I was in certain clubs and classes, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I really enjoyed the process of seeing products grow from like beginning to end, their entire life cycle, and being able to have that ownership to say like you helped launch a certain feature or an entirely new product, and it changes the way like people live their lives.
Yeah, let's get into the interview questions. Like, so I had 4 interviews, which were like, each of them were 45 minutes long, and they were back to back because it was, so I got my internship before like MBA started, so it was pre-MBA recruiting, and it was accelerated recruiting. So I had all the interviews on one day, but my other friends had like 2 interviews on one day and then 2 interviews on some other day. So that was the scenario for me, and the questions like which they asked me were like, for example, it's a very standard question which Amazon asked, like, how did you use data in your past job to deliver results? So like, you know, there's a whole question bank of questions which Amazon, like they send in the details on these kind of questions we'll ask, and their interview style is very similar to what they say. So there's no surprise, there are no surprises there. You will be given the resources, and you will be given, okay, these kind of questions will be asked. For me, something truly helped. So I created a chart of all the leadership principles and all my stories in a matrix, and then I thought like, what story is covering what leadership principles. So this way I could see like, okay, this leadership principle, I don't have any story. So all these questions are based on different leadership principles as well. So your story should talk about those situations and how like you are showing those leadership principles. You might not like say it explicitly, but like you can say it like indirectly. So it doesn't look that cheesy.
No, I really love that strategy. I also did that too. Like I mapped the leadership principle to my examples, and then during the interview, they would ask that broader question, like, can you give me an example of when you use data? And then they would go really into like diving deep, like follow-up questions of like, who did you talk to for that data? And then who did you present to? Why did you make the decision to like move forward this way and not the other way? So like, yeah, really know your stories to the core. I think that helped a lot. And then my timeline is slightly different from yours. Mine wasn't pre-MBA. It was like during January when I had my interviews. And it was 2 back-to-back, like 50 minutes. They also asked me questions like, what's your favorite product and why? Do you have any previous product management experience? Or like, how would you think through like launching this feature? Because kind of like the case studies, like we prepare in clubs. So yeah, it could go through like the entire framework of circles, or the 3 C's and the 4 P's. So these are all methods that we'll link below that help you like think like a product manager, basically.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think like one thing that really helped me out to understand the interview process, especially because I had not like joined classes and all these different resources which were available at business school, clubs, etc. The alum network really helped me. Like I got on a call with multiple people. I was so scared. Like I have this interview, I have no idea what is going to happen. I have like 7 days to prepare for it. And I think like my seniors really helped me. They told me about their interview process. They told me how to go about it. They told me how to write those stories, and also like I gave various mocks with my seniors. and then they gave me feedback, stuff like I was like kind of things that you do, like you say or you move or fiddle with something,
or if it's not organized and you need to structure your answers a bit more.
Exactly. So it was a mix of soft skills as well as like technical things that they added.
Similar to you, I also leaned on the upperclassmen, like second years, who've been through the interview process, and asked them for advice. I also went to a couple Amazon events, like info sessions or coffee chats, just to get a feel for the space and whether I'd like it or not. I also went to my career services office to help with resume, cover letter, and preparing for interviews, using the STAR method for behavioral questions. And then mainly second years or alumni for case questions.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that I did get a lot of help from career team as well. Especially they had not even started working with all of us, so but I had some mocks with them as well.
Yeah, definitely reach out to your resources. They're super helpful.
And I think one thing that really helped me was when I was speaking to these people who are working at Amazon, as you mentioned, coffee chats. You really get an idea about how you talk, how they talk, and you tend to talk like that, and that helps. You know?
Imitate them. Become an Amazonian before you get in.
So are there any? So I did not join any tech clubs or anything, but are there any clubs or resources?
So I joined a club called Booth Technology Group, and that specifically helped a lot with learning the frameworks and mock interviews, as you also had. I also joined Innovation and Design Club, which helped with, the creative front where you're thinking through solutions for pain points. And for classes, I had one that's actually called Lab in Developing New Products and Services. So it gave a real life experience with a client to work through the design thinking process for 3 months. So very similar to what we do now, but with a team, so you get that lecture and then also apply it to the real world.
Yeah, I think that was it from us for
how to get into Amazon. I hope that was really helpful, and let us know where you are in your interview process or job recruiting process in general as well. We'd love to hear it in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe and follow Pragya for more.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.